powerful. I didn't consider Marion Barry to be powerful. I don't even consider the black woman who's there to be powerful. Tom Bradley, the guy in Los Angeles, I consider him to be pitiful, not powerful.
Who is powerful?
Powerful is when you can deliver resources, services, and substances to your people and not compromise. The only black people who can become mayors of these cities are people who compromise with the white power system and deliver the resources to other places other than our community in Los Angeles. And I think the reason why we wouldn't be sitting here if they would have delivered the right verdict is because white people wouldn't have been hurt, white property wouldn't have been damaged, and America wouldn't have lost to the tune of $500 million. In terms of solutions, however, for young people, I see it as black people having to put pressure on the system, continued and consistent pressure. That we need to, I'm going to tell you what for. What we need to do is get our experts together, make an economic assessment of our relationship to America, our contributions to corporate activity, and divest from America as a white racist institution. Black youth, we spend a lot of money on sneakers, we spend a lot of money on gear, we spend a lot of money on jewelry, and we're going to have to be unified. For the first time in Los Angeles, we saw unity between the Bloods and the Crips. We need that.
Yes,
we need black
but
unity.
Sister Soldier, these two gangs out there were unified in looting the community. They temporarily abandoned their own enmity between each other and helped to ransack their own community.
That doesn't mean that I give up hope on their ability to become politically conscious. I think that black youth have been neglected, and they've also been looted, which is why they're looting.
Welcome to another episode of RBN Live Tuesdays. I'm one of your hosts. I'm CJ. What's up, Rome? What's up, Nick? What's up, JB?
What's poppin', people? We are back. RBN Live. We got Rome here with us as well. Our brother JB. We had a great turn. I'm loving the solidarity we get from the fundraiser for our brother JB. So I got to plug it. Let's take care of our boy.
Yeah, I'll put it up. Let's plug it now. Let's get right to it. This is the fundraiser. Actually, let me scroll down a little bit. Here is the total. JB fundraiser, and we're just raising money to help a brother out because he's just like a lot of people struggling with housing. And JB, do you mind if I play your video real quick, the one that you made? Or would you just rather just talk just now about it? I was going to play your video.
Check your audio, JB.
My apologies. No, I don't mind you playing it.
Okay. So JB had dialysis today, so he is a little on the weaker side than normal. So he'll be with us as long as he can. So yeah, I think it's better, JB. I'll play the video to just kind of explain the situation, and also just JB just giving thanks to everybody that have donated so far. So let's go to JB's video about his fundraiser. Let me see if I can.
While we do that as well, make sure you guys share the stream. We got a lot of stories to cover
fundraiser
today.
For my housing situation.
Sorry, I thought I was already sharing. So let me start it over. Here we go.
Yeah, go ahead, CJ.
Hey everybody, I just want to thank you all for taking the time to donate and share the fundraiser for my housing situation. This means a lot to me and my mother, who is,
Christina,
stressing and worried about this entire situation. And the fact that you are, trying to help keep me housed and my mother housed means so much. So right now we're at the halfway point, which is, it leaves me speechless just to know that so many people care so deeply about the situation with myself and my mother's. Unfortunately, our situation is not a rarity, and our situation is, it's so widespread that there's so many people going through this just like I am. As somebody that's on a fixed income, it's nearly impossible to keep my head above water. Unfortunately, this system is unsustainable. And so many of us are going through it, and it just shows how unsustainable this system really is. I want to thank my comrades at RBN, Nick, Rome, CJ, Sabi, and everybody who has either shared or everyone who has donated and people who just sent thoughtful energy my way. It means so much to me. Your compassion and empathy really shows that it's going to save us all, and you give me more faith in humanity day after day. And I can't thank you enough. I just want to wish you all just like overwhelming peace and love. And I just want to thank every single one of you for all your support because it means the world to me. It just shows that you truly do believe in leaving the world better than you found it. And I just can't thank you enough. And yeah, thank you so much.
So that was JB's thank you video, and also just giving a lot of shout outs to those that's trying to assist with the situation. So what you see on the screen is $3,445. That's what we've been able to raise so far. So believe it or not, guys, over what was it yesterday? It was like 1,000 less than that. So just over a day, we brought in.
Big shout out to Mark Kimberly. We appreciate you. I saw that.
She shouted out.
So
Dr. Jill Stein.
But special shout out to
she
Mark
didn't quote tweet it. Dr. Jill Stein. Nick didn't
Jill
quote
Stein
tweet
too.
it, but she just retweeted it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you for all those that have.
I love our community.
Tweeted that out. So the goal is 5,000, and that's where we're at, $3,445. And I don't want you to think that these are like $500 donations. Like I think the maximum we got was $100. The rest of them are $5, $10, $20, $50, like amounts like that. So we have 22,000 subscribers. Like if one person gave 50 cents, and not even that, a quarter. Yeah, a quarter of 20. Yeah, a quarter of that. So thank you for those that have donated. We'll get back to get back into the normal programming, but we will be coming back like the stream. We are sitting, guys, at 22,822 subscribers. The last 2 days, we've gained like 100 subscribers each day.
We gained like 600 last week.
Yeah,
last week we gained like 600.
Yeah, that's those hills, that hill rising, and then
like, bro,
just the Jimmy Dore.
Who's this crazy motherfucker?
So join if you're new and watching now. Please join, or at least give us the opportunity to get you to stay here. And now let's get into the stories of the day. Let's show the graphic. We're gonna start with the Cuba story, which is not on the graphic. But here are some of the other stories we're going to carry. Of course, Italy just elected a Mussolini protege, someone who looks up to Mussolini. So basically electing a fascist. And then Khanna, we have friend of the show, Unapologetic, who wrote a piece on Khanna, actually doing more inside trading than Nancy Pelosi, which is amazing.
I didn't see that.
Yeah. And then we have Vladimir there in the corner because he's actually part of two stories. He's the Snowden Russia citizen story, which Rome kind of put us on first. He kind of broke it to us in the DM when he was like, wow, look what just happened. And then, of course, the main story will be Breaking Points. They just continue to devolve down the neocon / neolib lane, or they're already there, but it's terrible. And my assessment, and I'm going to pass it to all of you to kind of give an overall assessment, but my assessment of Breaking Points is this. Either it was by design from the beginning, or some money man came in or money person came in later. But now all they are, if you look at everybody connected to this, how are you independent media if every single person involved, every single one has a connection to corporate media, from the two hosts to the new people they brought on, to the lever. Look at that's the Democratic Party written all over it. Go ahead, Nick.
We're independent because we get our money from different capitalists, CJ. You don't understand,
right?
Different capitalists.
Right.
We got a more edgy take on the same imperialist line. Like, I've been watching a lot of corporate news, especially on the Ukraine war, just to see what they're saying. I saw some story from MSNBC about the Russia referendum, and it was straight propaganda for 5 minutes. And then I watched Breaking Points, and it was the same thing, like the same coverage, but with and Crystal's more modern, edgy dialogue, right? With their dialogue with the same messaging. Savvy, it's in the house.
He's here. What's up, Savvy?
What's up, guys?
Yeah, we had Richard Donors, man. We would have been over. This JB shit would have been over.
Yeah.
Same day.
And Nick, did you have the article for this first story? I can't remember. You said you had
the Cuba story.
Was it the Cuba story, or was it? Because I have it too. I didn't know if you.
Is that the one we started with? Yeah, we start with Cuba.
Yeah. We're gonna start with the family.
All right, so let's get to that. Yeah. We're gonna talk about the other story, just Breaking Point story later. Go ahead, JB. You want to start it off?
Well, I just wanted to say one thing about the whole Breaking Points thing, and CJ.
We're gonna get to that segment later, but go ahead.
Yeah, but just to kind of give this surface analysis. Remember when you said, I think this was last year, you said, if the squad are taking their cues from a corporate Democrat, what makes them any better than a corporate Democrat? Let's apply that to media now.
Yes.
If media is taking if independent media is taking their cues from corporate media, what makes them any better? So I just want to put that there because I don't think I'm going to be here for that conversation, but I wanted to put that out there just for people to keep that in mind.
That is a great point. That is a great point.
Well, you made it, CJ, originally. So
yeah.
But
Nick, if you got the story, I'm going to pass it to you, sir, and I'm just going to drop to the back. I got to check on my sister on the website.
I'm glad I get to start the story. So we rather discuss Cuba. We got our brother JB here. I can't wait to hear your take on this issue as well. This is just another example of what we have been explaining to you guys on RBN. In capitalism, there's no democracy. When you have a socialist model, that is more democratic. There is no democracy in this country. Right now, what's happening right now? Right now, as our country is pretending that Russia, Cuba is authoritarian. In Russia, women have the right to get an abortion. In our country, in my state where I live, you don't. What is this liberal world order that you guys want to protect so much? In Russia, they got 180 days at least. And Zoya explained to me, in a lot of cases, you can get a lot more. But let's go with the official number. You got 180 days paid maternity leave in Russia compared to what in the United States? They say you gotta have a kid, and then if you do have a kid, good luck. You better be rich, or you're not seeing your damn baby. You better hire a babysitter. That's our country. And our country that the liberals, the Democrats who are patriotic for, they're like, oh, we all stand for LGBT rights. This country is cracking down on LGBTQ rights. We funded extremist, radical terrorists in other countries that are anti-LGBTQ, but they don't care about that. It's all about vibes. Let's put a rainbow in our profile and feel good about ourselves. So the liberal smear in the headlines I've seen on this has been hilarious because the corporate media have been trying to grasp and they've been trying to find sneaky ways to diss Cuba at the same time. They got to share the story of their thriving democracy. So here's one from Al Jazeera, and I'll see if I can find some funny stuff while you guys are talking. Cuba overwhelmingly approves same-sex marriage in referendum. New code will allow surrogate pregnancies, broader rights for grandparents, and measures against gender violence. I want to share this. I found this tweet. Here it is. I have it. I'm going to share this tweet because it gives you some highlights on how the Cuban democracy is thriving right now despite our mainstream media. This is a great tweet from Renoke. Cuba had nearly 80,000 neighborhood town halls to hash out their new family
Wow.
code. Abby, when last time you guys have neighborhood town halls where you have passionate discussions on issues?
Shit, they don't even tell us when we have a town hall.
Yes. Bro, I know in Kansas, I be looking, bro. That shit doesn't happen. If we have a town hall, always some bullshit. They're like, "Oh, should we adjust the tax code for 1.232?" It's all, and then there was some real shit that actually matters to workers. So this is one of many of that. You can find many of these tweets and many of these stories on Telegram, for example. Many people talking about and reporting on the ground on how this works, and it makes our society look barbaric. So let me read the tweet. I'll pass it to the panel. I've been ranting for a while. Cuba has nearly 80,000 neighborhood town halls to hash out their new family code before it went to a vote. When the last time there was a town hall anywhere in the United States over legislation? When the last time you got to have input on a change to the Constitution? People in this country think we live in a democracy.
We uphold this Constitution here, Nick. That's what we do.
Do you guys want to chime in before we move on?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'll let somebody else chime in first, but I do have some items here to cover.
I just say, like,
ahead,
it just goes to show the difference between like the way politics is handled in our country versus other countries. Because here in the United States, like, our laws and our legislation don't actually speak for the people. The people who are in the political positions, they're the ones that make those decisions. They're supposed to represent us, but they really don't. They represent corporations. So why don't we have a say-so in that? And something that John Stasevich brought up, which I think is a good idea, he said he thinks that the public should be able to decide who they want his VP to be. And I think you should have a say over that. Like, why we have no say in any of these policies, these things that get passed. And according to that Princeton study, people who are poor and people who are middle income have almost virtually no say in policy change. We don't have any effect on policy change, which means the majority of policy change is determined by people who are wealthy. And this is why I always bring it back to, we have to pay attention to the class war in this country, because the people with the money are the ones making the decisions. They want us to think that we're making decisions because we vote. But how has voting really changed your life?
Right. And we got to, right, because America it believes in hypocrisy. You know, even the laws that we supposedly live by today, we, you know, as of right, we have every right to overthrow this government. We have every right to want to rewrite a Bill of Rights or the Constitution, and the law and the Bill of Rights says it itself. But when it comes to us actually making changes, say, oh, no, we got y'all voting, and that's enough. Like, no, we need to actually get our hands in these bills, because if we was to actually have a democracy, we'll be able to change our Constitution and get rid of slavery. You know, we'll be able to get rid of slavery through our amendments and whatnot. So all these countries, they just showing us examples, and we should take this in right now, because maybe we will be the leaders of this land one day. We should take advantage of this and take this in and learn what they are doing, because it's gonna be a time when we're gonna have to lead and do these same things. You know, and this is a great example of changing with the times. You know, even though they had a revolution, they can't just sit back like how a lot of our black OGs do here, like, oh, well, I marched and blah blah. You know, they're trying to get a pass today for what happened yesterday. And even if they did lead a successful or a non-successful revolution, it was yesterday. It's not today. And you know what I'm saying? These times calls for new things. So, but it's good to see though.
Yeah. One of the things I think that people need to realize about Cuba is that the Cuban people have more civic involvement in their government than we do in this country.
Yes, JB.
That being said, even their children have a civic involvement. How do I know? Let me share.
Yes, JB.
I'm going to share this really quick with y'all, because this is very important. All right, so this is from peoplesdispatch.org. It says Cubans ratified the world's most progressive family. Who do you see watching the ballot box? You have kids, children watching the ballot box.
They got a gun. Watch them.
Antifa. Antifa is infiltrating their elections.
Now, when it comes to little kids, how good are they at lying? Look, you can't. It's really bad. So they literally involve everyone. There was another picture that circulated of a little child, disabled child in a wheelchair, also standing duty at one of the ballot boxes as well for these votes. So they have an entire they utilize the entire populace for their civic engagement. Now, a lot of people are like, what is this family code referendum? Well, the family code referendum, really just in layman's terms, is the definition of what a family is, right? You know how you get a lot of right wingers to say, well, I believe a family is between a man and a woman and their kids, and that's it. That's basically the nuclear family. Well, the Cuban people, and they had a vote, over 70, almost 75% of their populace had a voter turnout. Compared that to the United States during the general election for president, we don't even have that much. Okay. And then on top of it, they had over 66%, or 2/3 of the vote, voted yes to change the meaning of what a family is. And basically, the vote for yes meant that family can basically be a cohesive unit of people who love each other. That counts as a family. It could be between same-sex couples. It could be grandparents. It could be family. It could be people who have familial friendly ties that can count as a family. That being said, it is one of the most progressive family policies in this hemisphere, pretty much in the world. More progressive than here in the United States. And on top of that, it also allows for same-sex marriage. That being said, you get a lot of people, and a lot of people will go, well, JB, we, legalized same-sex marriage years ago, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, bullshit, we never voted for it. We never voted on same-sex marriage in this country as an entire country. It was given to us by the U.S. Supreme Court. But what was taken away a couple months ago by the U.S. Supreme Court?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wasn't that the right, to a safe abortion? What makes you think they can't take away our right to marriage now? But
they are even talking about it.
Yeah, the people, 2/3 of all people in Cuba voted for even people who are same-sex, not only to get married, but to also adopt. And Cuba is a very socially conservative country, very heavy in Catholicism. And yet they had 2/3 of their people that said, yes, you also deserve to have a family. You do also deserve to have your rights as a family. And so therefore, and then on top of it, a 75% voter turnout. That means that most Cubans are like, nah, that ain't none of my business. Your family is your family.
Exactly.
So guess what? This is going to blow the minds of many people who are conservative and liberal. Cuba is more progressive socially than the United States. Think about it. Chew on that. Because that means something for me. That means that if I were to marry my boyfriend, I can go to Cuba and my marriage will be recognized. If I go to Saudi Arabia, who the United States sells weapons to, it would never be recognized. In fact, I'd be murdered in the street. But the United States considers Saudi Arabia an ally. Make that make sense.
If that was if Nicolas Maduro was friends with Saudi Arabia, they would say Nicolas Maduro's getting cozy with anti-homosexual radicals. When we do it, we're making tactical alliances. I just want to let you guys know that decolonize your mind and see how they have open hypocrisies. I want to show you guys, and I'll pass it to CJ. I know you have a few things you want to share too. I want to show you guys, and I'm gonna give one example, but there are many examples like this. Watch the capitalist media who spread nothing but anti-Cuba propaganda try to report this story. They try to feed a negative narrative to the liberal audience. They are really struggling. This is a great tweet from my friend Cabral here. The way Western media tried to frame this incredible achievement is so
Unusual.
Cuba holds unusual vote on law allowing same-sex marriage. Cuba is holding a rare referendum. Motherfucking where's ours? On an
Where's
unusually
ours?
contentious law, a government-backed code that will allow same-sex couples to marry and adopt. Man, that is a mouthful. That is a lot of words in one sentence to say that Cuba just had the most progressive family code.
I guess it's unusual because they proven JB right of we never got a chance to even vote on this, you know. So it is, I guess it is an unusual vote to a country that don't uphold democracy or don't give a fuck about how their people actually wants to live or makes them happy.
Yeah.
Whatever.
To the ruling class, this is tyranny. This is tyranny to the ruling class. The people having the right to do something, that's tyranny.
Yeah, they're horrified. They're horrified. Danny said Cuba's new family law proved that socialism is far superior to capitalism, both in its ability to lift the standard of living for our workers and expand the definition of freedom to the fullest possible extent. So when the country was ready to advance on the social issue, it was done because it's a real democracy. Meanwhile, in our country, for no reason, despite having an abundance of resources, in order to keep the workers fighting against each other, so they don't fight a class war against the rich that's plundering us, we have to regress socially. They got to have people fight these social wars. Like Donald Trump, many times he said, bro, I'm pro-choice. He's like, I don't care about the gay marriage issue. But then in order to get power, he started caring about that because he's like, oh shit, if I want to be president of the United States, I got to get these motherfuckers to fight against each other. Mm-hmm. So an issue he literally used to say, bro, I think this is a distraction. Look up his old quotes on abortion and gay marriage. Donald Trump used to be like, bro, I don't care. This is a distraction. Now, in order to get power, put the workers against each other. That's the capitalist model. And that what RB in here to explain to you guys. CJ, Sabby, do you guys want to take it?
I'll let Sabby go. Go ahead, Sab.
I was just going to say, even in reference to same-sex marriage in Massachusetts, because we were the first state to legalize same-sex marriage, we didn't get to vote on that either. Excuse me. We didn't get to vote on that either. That actually happened because GLAAD, the organization GLAAD, sued the Superior Court in Massachusetts because they wouldn't grant marriage licenses. I think it was like 7 couples that tried to get married. They wouldn't grant those licenses to them. So because that organization, they came together and said, we're going to sue the Superior Court. That's actually how it was implemented that you could have same-sex marriage in Massachusetts. But the people we did not vote on it. So that's just something to note, that it took activists organizations to actually push back against that in order for something to happen. Now, that pressure came from the outside. So that's another example where the pressure from the outside can actually push legislation, I think, so much.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize
that we didn't
vote on that.
Wow.
Yeah.
I never know that.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I just wanted to play a couple of videos that I think almost all of us have retweeted either one of these videos that I'm going to be showing. It's just a brief 1-minute video kind of summarizing for if there's any missing information. I did want to play this that we haven't covered about the story. So let's play this. It's about 1 minute and 5 seconds.
Do you agree with the family code? Yes or no? That is the question Cubans answered this Sunday in the popular referendum on the new family code. The bill, already approved by the Cuban parliament, must be ratified by the Cuban population before it comes into force. Around 8 million citizens are eligible to vote in the consultation. The Cuban authorities have said that the code expands the rights of Cuban families and tempers the revolutionary process to current times. Among other aspects, the family code seeks to legalize marriage between same-sex couples and the adoption of children between them. It also legalizes solidarity gestation. It also seeks to extend protection to older adults and establish new legal channels to penalize domestic aggression. Tomorrow, Monday, the official results of this popular referendum will be announced. If approved, the family code in Cuba will be one of the most progressive ones among all of the countries in the hemisphere.
So yeah, that was that first clip, just kind of giving a brief synopsis about the the family code. And now this one here kind of talks more about the family code. Both of these are videos that were before the referendum. We already know that the referendum has passed. As JB noted, I think he said a 66% or 2/3. The 2/3 threshold has hit. So let's play this one. And the caption says
75% turnout. Holy fuck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy. That's what happens when people feel like their vote actually does something. People actually show up. Who knew?
Great point.
We're not voting for some dickhead. The Constitution. Let's go. Let's go. Right now. Drop it. Call my mama. Let's go. Man, I can't imagine some shit like that.
Yeah, you know what? That other video is in Spanish. I was just listening to it, so now never mind. So it's in Spanish. I thought I had the English version as too, but I got the Spanish version. But you get the basis of what the code is for. But what that headline says to me is that the United States knows that this shows them up. That headline you read, Nick, saying the way they described it. Unusual. Yeah, I saw that same headline, though. It's like they're basically admitting that this is a good thing, so we have to give it this spin. Why not just say what it is? Why not? If you felt like you were progressive and you were better, like if you were just so much better, wouldn't you just say, yeah, they're barely now coming on to doing something? I can't wait to see
they can't say that.
Right-wing headlines where they like, Cuba's authoritarian push for the LGBT agenda. Just wait, it's gonna come. Cuba's LGBT communist authoritarian woke agenda. Sponsored by George Soros. But go ahead, bro.
No, I'm just saying, like these. How can you fight back and be a progressive? How can you fight against China, Cuba and say you're a progressive when all of these things that they just passed are on your ballots? This motherfucker, like it's. Don't even come over here. You can't play with us. Don't sit in our table. What the mean girl said? You can't sit with us. Real shit. Because y'all not even on our level, bro. Go get y'all people some health care before y'all even try to talk to us. You fucking bum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm laughing.
It's laughable. I think it's laughable. I think we can close it there. I don't have anything to add here unless anybody else, Nick. I'll give it back to you.
We can go to the breaking point story while we got Savvy here, if you want.
Absolutely. So let's do that. I mean, we have so many videos. We could play the latest video, the one where it's like gunpoint. I think one of you posted it, the gunpoint video where they claim.
Yeah. So I want to get a shout out to Fiorella Isabel, and also shout out to Kim Iverson as well, because they had a great video they released yesterday on Kim Iverson channel that explained what's going on with the Russian referendum, debunking the Western propaganda. I told you guys, I've been watching our enemies on corporate media, and their coverage of the Russian referenda and the Donbass has been hilarious. They've been like, oh my God, Russia is stalling a sham democracy, forcing people at gunpoint to vote. The people in the districts terrified. It's a sham election. The Biden administration immediately said, "Hey, we're not going to recognize this." All the European colonizers said, "We're not going to recognize." You guys think we care about democracy? You guys think we care about what people vote for? We have our narrative, and we're going to set it, and we don't care what anyone says. Yeah. We don't care about the people in the eastern Ukraine. Like people say, stand with Ukraine, but they don't care about what the people in the eastern Ukraine think, and that's been a common theme throughout the course of this conflict. And without any evidence whatsoever, there's way more evidence that have been reported on the ground in Ukraine. You can check this out on Telegram channels. The Combo Couch has done a great job exposing this. Fiorella, once again, big shout out to her because she's been reporting on this. She's in Moscow. She's been reporting the general feel in Russia. And many people have been reporting us on this as well. Like many countries, it's always divide, right? There's some people agree, some people who don't agree. But for the most part, everyone is for the idea of having a referendum and deciding and have the people themselves decide whether they want to be Russian or Ukraine. And since we know the history of the conflict and knowing that the Azov Nazi thugs been committing ethnic genocide against Russians in eastern Ukraine, you had the Ukraine government shelling the Donbass and eastern Ukraine, killing their own people. they enacting revenge on anyone who has any pro-Russian sentiment. So these people, they want to leave this authoritarian regime that Zelensky has, where they're stripping worker rights away, banning the Russian language. When you understand the history of this, it makes sense that the people who are victims of Azov thug terrorism wants to leave Ukraine that has been hijacked by the Azov Battalion. This is not complicated, but the Western media, in anticipation of them voting to join Russia, they say, "Oh, it's a sham referendum."
Yeah.
Hold on, Nick. This is Putin using this as an excuse. So next time, when everybody wants to join Russia, and Ukraine bombs Russia, now you're bombing Russia's soil. Now they're going to be able to use nuclear war. Like, I didn't heard it all, man. There's so many excuses, but they'll always ask the people this: why in the hell did America throw a coup on Ukraine? Right? Because if you want to, we have to go back. If you want to talk about today, we have to go back, because you know what I'm saying, we are only seeing today because of our actions. I remember they said it wasn't no biochemical weapons out there. Ain't no bio labs out there. And then it was like, all right, look, it's something out there, but they don't want y'all needs to know.
Why would anything that coming from the Ukrainian side who've been caught lying about everything? And I'm sure Russia has told some fibs too. But everything that came out of Ukrainian intelligence, they admit is a lie to drum up support for weapons. Which, by the way, we just gave $12 billion more to Ukraine. But just let you guys know, that's about to happen. And this is the referendum. And once again, Fiorella, big shout out. She's doing a great reporting on this.
Yeah, she's doing great
referendum results. And everyone knew this was what happened, because once again, I cannot emphasize enough, the fascist thugs in Western Ukraine, backed by NATO, have been waging war on these people since 2014. You can find so many clips of Ukrainians talking about the civil war in the Donbass. But then ever since Russia invaded Ukraine, it's been wiped from history. You can't talk about it. Never happened. There's a new conflict because Putin just snapped one day.
Let me share this.
I can tell you this shit because I watch corporate news. It's unbelievable, the story they are telling people. If you're ever just curious, don't watch mainstream media to get news. Watch to see what they say. Watch to see the ideology of these insane.
Yeah, I don't know how you sit through it, because I try to watch. I mean, I'll watch it, but it's to nausea. Let me share also something from Fiorella. She's kind of pointing out the same thing. This is where I thought I saw in our DM. I saw it on Fiorella's page.
Yeah, this is good. This is good transition to breaking points.
Yeah, she's pointing out, like, look at this nonsense. This how did she say it? NATO state affiliate YouTube media. That's
the reason why I wanted to give some background information, because I wanted to show you guys the corporate media is pushing this narrative. And even if it doesn't matter if you're anti-Putin, pro-Putin, like, there's an objective truth that anti-establishment media should be chasing. If you're anti-establishment media, your segments on Ukraine and on this Russian referendum should not sound exactly like the MSNBC segments I watch. Period. Sorry, CJ. I just want to make that point because there's a reason I set the segment up like this. I wanted to show you guys how anti-establishment media should report on this. We should be looking for the truth.
See, Nick, the difference between us and MSNBC is that we sit there and talk to people that's on the left, like, you know, people like you guys.
The breaking point is quoting Ukrainian government officials, bro, uncritically, and they do this over and over again on breaking points. And when you watch the segment, we're gonna play clips, right, CJ? And then if you watch,
I got clips ready.
In this video, everyone in their own comments are calling them out. Their own community is calling breaking points out. And I just want to say, guys, we warned you. Remember when we came out with the videos on breaking points a few months ago, and people was like, "Oh my God, RBN is challenging breaking points." CJ, Sabby, we saw the seeds. We saw the warning signs early. Now people are like, "Oh my God, can't believe breaking points sound like establishment media."
They said that
Sabby,
we were.
Sabby, what was the reaction to you when you first started reporting that? Wasn't it like kind of a pushback? Like, what are you talking about? They're the good guys.
People said that we were jealous. They said we were acting in bad faith, and I'm like, no, go back and watch their segments from when they were on Rising, which is corporate media, and compare it to the way that they discuss those same issues today, and you will see a change. So I've argued this as well. I don't know why it's called breaking points. What points are you breaking if you sound like mainstream media? It just
That is a great point.
no. It's
Do
just
you have to do a
it's
clip or
terrible.
Yeah, I'll share it right now.
Sorry, Sabby, go ahead.
I
Sorry,
will.
sorry, I didn't-
No, I'm just it's terrible. All this is mainstream. They found a way to make independent media more mainstream. And the way that you do that is you use mainstream media talking points. That's what
It's
they're doing.
unbelievable. It is
It's-
so
It's
bad.
terrible.
It's mainstream. It's mainstream media with a independent media veneer.
Right.
That is it. That is it. And that veneer is very expensive. How much did this desk cost? Like,
They
I mean,
said
that should have been a
$10,000.
Oh, that's
that
like
should have been a
3
give.
times more than our fundraiser. God
Yeah,
damn.
that's like that should have been a giveaway, a dead giveaway there. Like, who does that if you're independent media? So, and to the point of the comments, because we noticed this a lot in their comments that they're getting ripped to shreds, and it's like they don't care. It's because the people who are watching them on YouTube in that way, the free ones, they don't care. They care about the people that's paying them. What is that membership? $1,500 a month or whatever. That membership, the top membership, they care about those people. Those are the people in Washington, D.C. Those are the people in Lane. You know what I mean? Those people. And they want to hear the same thing that corporate media says. They just want to feel like they're independent. You know what I mean? They want to get it from a different place and feel like, oh, I'm edgy. But it's the same news.
$1,500 a month?
We try to warn you guys.
I think the 1,500 is for 1 year, but still, like, who has
1 year? That is still
that's
still a lot.
just drop like that.
All right, so here is the video. Let me make sure this is it. Yeah, here is the video. You just let me know when you. Oh, this is not the right one I'm sharing. This is the one I'm sharing. Just let me know when you want me to stop and start. And here we go.
Yeah, luckily, it's not too long.
I have to make sure that we highlight this. Politically, making some big grounds by the Russians to try and lay territorial claim to these eastern regions in Ukraine. Let's put this up there on the screen. Russian authorities literally going door to door, and in some cases with Kalashnikov rifles, in order to, quote, collect votes for the referendum. I truly wonder what the
everyone felt
results.
Really free to vote their
I wonder
conscience.
what number that they're gonna go with. You know, you always
look at that.
usually they go with like 70, something like that. So like, well, there was some dissent, but it was overwhelming.
See, we allowed them to vote how they wanted to
If
vote.
you go 98, then everybody just knows you're a clown. Then you look like some African dictator. But if you go with 70, everybody's like, all right.
Everybody already knows
Okay,
they're a clown on this.
Listen, it's clown worthy.
You see how he repeats establishment talking points, but he does it in an edgy way. He's like, you know, I'm gonna cast that same doubt. I'm gonna cast that same doubt that Brian Seltzer does on this, but I'm gonna do it in an edgy way, right? Like this is garbage. But go ahead, CJ. I'll let you play a little bit.
And let me just look at the source. The source is Euro News. Euro News is the source. So I want to know, right? That's what I was just getting to. I want to know, did they just go, oh, I read the article, now let's do a segment, or they did anything beyond what could have been put out by the CIA, by a number of different organizations?
And you're gonna notice in this, they never bring up the on the ground, and Fiorella brought this up in her segment with Kim Iverson. They never brought up the on the ground election observers. That many people, they're like, bro, how many election observers do we see in our elections like this? You guys think Russia's is doing this? Like guns blazing? You think everyone in the world will see that? Do you guys really think they're that dumb? So people on the ground say, yo, you got election observers. Like there's no physical evidence of what they're saying. And if you watch all these segments, they never provide any. Like they will never provide an image of like soldiers shooting and killing people who refuse to vote, because it didn't happen. It's not gonna happen. I want to see the evidence. And if you're independent news, and I want to do things both ways, CJ. Even if you disagree with me, why, as anti-establishment news, are you not critical of the information coming from Ukraine and NATO? That's your job. Sorry, go ahead. Let's continue it.
And both of them are supposed to have this so-called overlapping view on being anti-war, which is being showcased as that is a complete lie.
Who tried to protest. Actually, some of the people in these regions could now be mobilized for this conscription and be thrown against their own countrymen, which is insane when you consider that.
That is
insane. look, you've got military installed officials by Moscow that are organizing these referendums. They'll probably release the votes, whenever they find it most strategic. But as people point out, first of all, these are war-torn regions. Half the people who were pro-Ukraine, they left to go back to the safe areas of Ukraine.
Yes.
So it's already ludicrous. Number two, the vote itself cannot be trusted whenever you literally have people going door to door, the military and Russian.
He said it can't be trusted whenever you have people literally going door to door at gunpoint. So he's basically saying that is a fact. That's what he's saying. So how can you trust it?
So you want to send these? So you want to send these canvassers out here without any protection, knowing that you don't know what territory that you walking in. We don't know any like if we was just going out. Want to go canvass for one of our politicians or for a vote to join Russia or whatever, we wouldn't know what neighborhood to guide us through if we didn't have that type of that type of protection over us, or somebody ahead of us giving us the maps or whatever. If you all canvass, we all had maps and what neighborhoods to go to, who was Republican, who was Democrat, and it's way different in a war-torn country. So at this time and during these votes, you rather send these people out here with nothing? I don't get that argument at all. Because you are basically sending people out to their deaths if that's how you see it, if that's how you want it. That shit is bullshit. I hate his fucking voice more than I hate his fucking haircut.
Yeah, this is why it's important.
They are trying to.
Sorry, Zabby, go ahead.
I'm sorry. This is why it's important to know about the funding. So I think Indie Left News, his team, they did a really good job on that article talking about who is actually funding Breaking Points. If you have billionaires that are funding your project, you're not going to have these talking points where you push back on mainstream media narratives about war and imperialism. Otherwise, they're not going to support you. So this is really interesting to note. Like, how do you guys think they got all this money? You got to think about who's funding them. It's not coming from me. It's not coming from people like us. Most of that money is coming from
the working class
people. Yeah, how you think they afford to buy $10,000 desk? So Breaking Points has now become their audience, just like the Squad, and we talked about this last night. Their audience is the PMC group. That is who they are targeting. That is who they are speaking to. They're not speaking to working class people. They're not speaking to poor people. Yeah, they'll cover strikes and unions here and there, but the audience that they are trying to target are the people who can pay those large subscriptions, the people who are going to fund their project. They just did a road trip to Atlanta. So they're doing live appearances now. Where you think that money come from?
Look at the poll, Stabby. Remember that poll where they said, "Who do you guys trust on the economy?" And the voters vote Republican. Their audience is boutique professional managerial Karens that vote Republican, and then the one who's and I promise you, the one who do vote Democrats, they're like Pete Buttigieg, or maybe some Justice Democrats. PMC class people.
Where are the comments? Am I missing something? Where are the comments? I want to show some of the.
Go down.
That's what I wanted to say, because I remember that it was a study on who was actually funding the Squad, and a lot of that money was coming from people that was living in gentrified neighborhoods, and these are the same people that's probably in their audience that don't want to hear that hardcore truth about the government and how it should be brought down and whatnot. They are comfortable where they are at. And they just trying to basically spray perfume over some shit just to sell to the people and say, well, we tried. And this is better than yesterday. It's better than 50 years ago or some bullshit like that.
Right. Like, why aren't they, look, if this is not their wheelhouse, why aren't they interviewing people like Eva Bartlett, people like Fiorella?
I show CJ. Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead, Savvy.
Why aren't they interviewing people like Eva Bartlett, people like Fiorella, Isabel, who are actually over there on the ground? Why aren't they talking to them about this conflict? Why are they just reading from articles? Like, you guys have seen this. We bring on people who have been there, people who know a lot more about it. It's very clear they don't know as much about this subject, but why aren't they bringing on the people who are on the ground? So that right there to me is suspicious. And I know they have a lot of contacts. So there's no excuse not to interview those people. They don't bring them on because they don't want people to hear the truth. They want to repeat those same talking points that you'll hear on MSNBC. So if you're hearing the same thing on MSNBC that you're hearing that on Breaking Points, what is the point of Breaking Points? What point are you breaking?
And see, that goes back to my joke I said earlier when I said, Nick, the difference between me and blah blah. Like that would be that's like their only excuse. And even some of their fans, when we call them out, they say, well, they have leftists on and they speak to climate activists and whatever. How many times have they done this? Like I have yet to see this happen, but if it does happen, it doesn't happen enough. And if that's their only argument, then it's still fucking whack as hell. They're sitting on millions of dollars and it's doing nothing with it but accumulating more wealth for themselves. That makes no sense.
You want to know a damning fact? And I pass it to you, CJ, because you want to chime in. You want to know a damning fact someone told me after my Hill appearance? They said, how fucked up is it that the Hill had you on to talk about foreign policy before Breaking Points did? And I was like,
right.
but CJ, if you want to chime in, I have some comments. I know you want. We can show a few more comments, and then we can finish the video because they don't have a long segment on this.
Yeah, and y'all have to tell me where to find it.
Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit more. Even their own audience, like, bro, what is happening here?
I want to see.
Well, we've been warning people for quite some time. Congratulations, you win top prize in the propaganda for dumb people category. Crystal and Steiger are controlled. This is their own audience, guys, are controlled to some degree. This is just too silly for them to simply get wrong. I knew you guys sold out after the whole barely covering Israel-Palestine. And remember, these are the same guys who bootlicked John Fetterman. They bootlicked John Fetterman while refusing to cover Israel-Palestine, the issue that he gets wrong.
Well, Crystal and her husband heavily donated a lot of money to Israel. I don't know if everybody knows that.
I didn't know that.
that picture.
Yeah, if these was our comments, I would be
roasted. Sorry, Ron, go ahead.
I would be heartbroken if I went to. I mean, we
saw those comments with us.
We get a couple of them, but not 100 people.
Yeah, I remember like, oh my god, you fucking commie, fuck you. But that's good. That's a good one to me because that proves that those are people. If your own community is roasting like this, look, 240 likes. Why should a single one of your viewers take anything said here at face value when your only source of info is other mainstream media outlets? And then upon closing the video, we are treated with some soundbite targeting mainstream media outlets as untrustworthy, given how they are dividing the country. But that's a great point because they're like, we're going to use nothing but mainstream media outlet as our sources. But then at the end of the video, they're like, oh, don't trust mainstream media.
Right.
CJ, let me get back to the video.
It's almost like it's a scheme almost that they're doing, but let's take a slight second to like this video. We're at 465 people watching right now. We have 276 likes. Can we push that to 375? Another 100 likes, and let's get some more people in the chat. And back to you, Nick.
Do you want? We can go back to the video. You still got the video queued?
Oh yeah, I got the video queued right here.
We can finish the video. We can do some final thoughts on this segment. Because you guys saw how we explained our position. What do you think? How anti-establishment media should approach this? Like what Fiorella is doing, what Kim Iverson is doing, and we can show a few more of the receipts. What I am attempting doing, questioning the narrative that's coming from our government. That is not what they're doing. They are doing the same thing at New York Post, New York Times, Washington Post, where they just repeat whatever the Ukrainian officials and our lying warmongers say. So let the video play. You guys see what I'm talking about.
And let me say this point that I wrote down. After they left Rising, they actually went to the right. Now, there's two things that could have happened. They're like their segment. If you go watch their Rising segments, they're way more progressive. The ones that she do, like that and it's not heavily he's talking. If you notice in Breaking Points, Sagar talks like 60 to 70% of the video. It's Sagar speaking. He's always the one framing the war. Any war video, he's the one that's starting out to frame it, and then she's just there to kind of go, oh, this and that, with no sort of anti-war perspective that she applies. But it's at worst, this was a co-op from the beginning. At worst. At best, what happened was they found out when they left, hey, if we really want to make money, we have to stay within the lines of corporate media. Look how much money we're going to make. So let's maneuver sort of this way. So either they did it on their own or this was a co-op from the beginning. Go ahead, Sabby.
I'm sorry, Sabby.
I'm sorry. I thought Sabby was going to say something.
I was just going to say, bingo, CJ, you hit the nail on the head. They knew if they wanted to stay on that corporate algorithm, they were going to have to use those kind of talking points. If you're speaking out against this kind of stuff, that particularly or usually does not work well for the algorithm. So yeah, it's just, this could have been just an op from the beginning.
Hey, I just made an observation.
So if we start, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I just made an observation. TYT is to Democrats as breaking points is to Republicans.
And that's think about a fact, just based on the polls. That is a fact.
That's what it feels like.
They're further they're further right than TYT. Is that what you're saying?
That's what it feels like. It feels like that they're more in line with like the neocons, whereas TYT is more involved with like the neoliberals.
Yep.
That's what it feels like.
Man, just terrible. Because I had high hopes for this concept, but it's just terrible.
Trying to do this, however, to legitimize these regions in the eyes of the Russian constitution, like they did with Crimea, to then lay and start this as a war of defense and not of offense. So
yeah, we're just defending our territory.
Bingo. Hey, we had a vote. They said they wanted.
Now, a leftist should have came in and said, actually, that is what they're doing because of the overthrow of the government in 2014. Remember what happened in Ukraine? And then we put all these military weapons right at their border. So we kind of instigated this saga. That is how the back and forth is how I envision it to be from a left and a right. But she is literally saying the same stuff and just saying, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that's right. It's just weird to me.
Yes, this is the left-wing position, believe me.
Well, I'm agreeing with this Warhawk. Like, what the fuck is this? What the fuck do he got something to gain? He obviously got something to gain or lose because he's always on the side of war. I have yet to hear this man speak against war. Not, you know what I'm saying? Even speaking against it, no matter who's you with, we all know we're not a part of a team. You know, speaking against the war is the least that you can do as a whole. But his side, he's coming at it like, oh, well, yeah, we're just doing what we have to do to protect us and protect our people. So you want more people to die in order to protect people? That's not how you protect people. You know what I'm saying? You do peace treaties, you fucking idiot, like how they have been trying to do for years now. But it was America getting inside of these other leaders' heads, overthrowing these fucking countries, overthrowing these governments, having these regime changes, and speaking for them, speaking for these citizens. So, man, fuck.
If you think back, Sabby in particular, you just can off the top of your head because you did reporting on this. If you think back on Rising, when they reported on war, it looked nothing like this. It looked nothing like this. It was literally from a non-interventionist sort of approach, because that was one of the things they supposedly said. He's a right populist that they agree on, that is too much money being spent on war. Now it's a completely like right shift where it's almost like they're promoting war, but like to Nick's point, they're doing it with a few jokes, so it doesn't seem like they're being hawkish.
Yeah. When they reported on the Ukraine offensive, they use that as an opportunity to repeat state propaganda. When I reported on it, I used that as an opportunity to explain to you they needed that offensive in order to justify us sending more weapons and more money to Ukraine. Hence, why Biden just proposed $12 billion more right after the offensive. You guys see the difference between why didn't they explain that? There's no explanation of that.
Or if they don't know that, bring on someone who can explain that and can break that down. Like, I would like to see Black Agenda report on breaking points. How come they don't bring on Danny Haiphong?
Exactly.
How come they don't bring on those voices? You know what I mean? So my whole thing is, I think that what we have to understand is that Breaking Points is not left independent media. For the most part, it is further to the right. A lot of them have changed. Crystal and Sagar have moved further to the right. Secular Talks move further to the right. TYT moved further to the right. And you notice this change. I noticed the change happened after Biden won and Trump lost. So it's going to take another election cycle where they're going to try to push another progressive on us going through the Democratic Party. Looks like they're trying to pump up Marianne Williamson, which I think is absolute disaster. They're going to try to pump her up, or they're going to try to sell us Bernie Sanders again, and they'll just keep on playing this game. This is how they make their money. So to me, I just think it's ridiculous. I wish more people. I think more people are waking up to it, but I want more people to really fully understand why is it that they're predominantly their audience is right wing. Now, people will criticize us and try to say, "Oh, you guys are secret right wing." They'll say that about Jimmy Dore. Why aren't they saying that same thing about Breaking Points when you look at their poll results? What is up with that? For all the people who are criticizing Jimmy Dore for having right-wing audience, why are those people giving Crystal and Saga a pass for having a right-wing audience as well?
Get their ass out of me.
So
Go ahead. That's a great point.
You just reminded me of a point I thought of earlier of how she was always following the corporate grift because Trump was in office. It's easy for anybody to talk about Trump and come off as a leftist, say that they're a progressive, especially when they're coming out of the gate. MSNBC already fired her, so she's looking like the new kid on the block again. You know what I'm saying? Another fresh face for the leftists, et cetera, et cetera. But when Trump got out, it was either follow the money and keep on this corporate train, or become a fighter and go with the leftists. Now, the only reason why they don't bring people on like you know what I'm saying, like us or any other independent news journalists is because it's the same reason why, you know what I'm saying, we do it. It's because of money. You know what I'm saying? They bring us on. They bring people like us on, Friarella, et cetera, you know what I'm saying, pushing back on their propaganda, then their money going to slow up. It's going to slow down. Their fans and their donors don't want to hear no shit like that in the airwaves. It's the reason why they funding them millions of fucking dollars. You know what I'm saying? Millions of dollars, not even push back against war itself as a whole.
And it has nothing to do with subscriber count because they brought on white guys who have less subscribers than RBN does. Damn. I call it like I see it.
It is what it is, man. Like, it's obvious to us, right? It's
right.
like it's obvious,
and they follow us. They follow us. Crystal follows RBN. She's been following RBN for a while. Yeah, they've been following RBN for a while. So it's not like they're not aware of who we are, and they may know the critiques, but it might be a money move. Like, I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. Like, let's just say they just said, hey, yeah, we're independent, we're non-establishment, but hey, if we stay within these lines, the algorithm doesn't fuck with us, and look how much money we can make, and we can go on tour, and we can actually build this network. And that may be the decision that they have made. If they're in the professional managerial class, they're just making an economic decision.
We can get back to the video too. I think we got only like
she worked 40 mil for a reason. She didn't make and accumulate all that wealth by sitting here thinking about what's the best for you guys. These people are careers.
There was a guy, I can't remember his name. It was on Twitter. He called out Kyle Kalinske recently, talking about how they used to be friends and how he was he changed the moment he became friends with Joe Rogan. And that guy said, I think Vanguard covered this. That guy said that Kyle Kalinske was really willing to sell out Black people and working class people in order to get some type of fame.
Hey, what a lie.
I mean, he did.
Sounds about right to me. Sounds about right to me.
That nigga was on that Libra scale with Joe Biden. Like, I don't know. Maybe so. I don't know. Maybe so.
All right. The reason play the video is to tie it into the first block, which is that the Russians and Putin specifically recently updated his own nuclear doctrine to say that they would use nuclear weapons to defend the territorial integrity of the Russian Federation. And remember, territorial integrity is in the eye of the beholder, as in what they believe to be their territory, not necessarily what we believe to be their territory.
Yes.
So that remains the case too.
And to tie it back to the original discussion about nukes, Putin made a lot of waves when he expanded the sort of Russian nuclear doctrine to include defending territorial integrity.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
Why are they inserting nuclear talk for a video talking about Ukrainians forced to vote at gunpoint?
Exactly, CJ. I'll let the video play.
Guys, this is so transparent.
I'll let it play. Jesus Christ.
I agree. Just in advance of these referendums. So it's very clear the threat here. Basically, we are laying claim to these areas. We are saying these are now part of Russia. We are holding these sham referendums to give some fig leaf of a justice.
Who told you it's a sham referendum? Because we have people on the ground, Fiorella, with video, like of actual people. They have like I know I'm supposed to let this play
for why we're doing that. And now if you breach our territory, we have put this nuclear threat out there. So it is a very very dangerous situation. And it is insane to think about what you were saying, that the other piece of this is, okay, now that we're claiming you're part of Russia, you're also subject to the same draft that the whole rest of the country is. So people who are in that region who are pro-Ukrainian nationalists could be forced into being drafted, and
they're probably the first ones.
You mean the Nazis? Is that who she's talking about? The Nazis may be forced. I mean, who is she talking about?
And
I'll pause it there to give a little bit of discussion. It's just itching to talk. Go ahead, Sabby. Go ahead, Nick. And go ahead, Rome. Or whoever wanted to go.
Go ahead, Sabby, and then I'll let the video play because there's so much to say. But go ahead, Sabby.
Well, I just wanted to shout out President Jesus or Jesus, one or the other. Reid Hoffman is the tech mogul who funded the app that rigged the Iowa primary and funded a scam pack for Crystal. So you have to remember, Crystal was a political candidate. So never forget that.
That is true. That is very true.
I just wanted to say that these people act like there are no standards when it comes to any military, even to America, sloppy ass, weak ass military and armies. There are standards, and you're not just because you are a citizen.
They are drafting Russian reserves, and in all the mistakes, and Putin and the guys. This is the funny thing. Every mistake that has been made, Putin and the Russian government said they're going to do everything they can to quickly rectify it. So what the American news is doing, they think, look at it, the Russians drafted this old disabled guy. And you can criticize them for being sloppy for doing that, but Russians always fixed this to the point where Putin gave a speech and was like, all right, we got to make sure we fix any issues and any miscommunications because we only want to draft healthy Russian reserves. So then the mainstream media came out. I got the video, so I watched it earlier today. They're like, oh, in a rare statement, Putin finally acknowledges a mistake. No, for real, that's how they covered it. They said Putin. That's how you know. They're like, that's how you know this draft is going bad when Putin had to come out and acknowledge the mistake that they made and fixed it. You mean what's government supposed to do? But anyway, once again, there's so many things that are getting wrong here. That's why we're having a hard time getting to this 5-minute video. Like there's so many. So I'll let it play a little bit, and I'll do a little analysis afterwards. Go ahead.
I mean, that's basically you face the gun at home or you face the gun on the front line. I mean, I cannot imagine having to be put in that situation. But it is one they have put their own people in many, many times. And in fact, those are people, the far-flung regions of Russia we discussed, although those are always the ones who suffer the most at the hands of the leaders in Moscow.
Yeah.
And generally, their lives are considered completely expendable.
Yeah. You're talking about places that during the winter hit
-90
degrees
what country are you talking about? Russia.
Right.
I'm sorry. Let it play. Got every sentence. They say some bullshit. All right, let it play. I'll let it play.
Like actual occupation.
When they're like, you can't send our men to this war, they're like, we will literally freeze to death. If one of the women they interviewed was like, my son hasn't finished the floor in our house because it got flooded over the summer, and my daughter-in-law is pregnant and she's got little kids. We literally don't know how we're going to make it through winter. That is what they're being subjected to. Cable news is ripping us apart, dividing the country, making it impossible to know just what is true and what is false. But the good news is they are failing and they know it.
That is why we're building something new, a new mainstream.
No, they say it right here. Listen what he says. Listen to what he says when he begins to talk. Listen to Sagar, what he says.
But the good news is they are failing and they know it.
That is why we're building something new, a new mainstream, a healthier one.
A new mainstream, a healthier one. He didn't say anything about being a new mainstream media.
To be fair, you're right.
He's saying it right there.
Yeah, to be fair, you're right. He didn't say he's gonna do anything new.
Yeah, but I can't believe because on Rising they were a lot better. They were a lot better on Rising as a group. What does that say? JB?
It's the hurricane warning, so
I agree with Kyle Kalinske on two things, and two things only. Niggas be hungry. And and Crystal Ball is stuff.
All right, I'm gonna head out. All
right, JB.
All right, so
take care of yourself.
JB's gonna hit, and he has a hurricane warning. That means you gotta go, JB. That means
that was his last
Or you
thing
mean-
anyway. We gotta get JB got rest up.
Hey, so the joke, for those that don't get the joke, it's because of what, Rome? Why? What makes that a joke? What did Kyle say?
OGs know. The OGs know. They know that motherfucker was on that racist shit. Saying, "Oh, I can say the N word because I'm a," no. But yeah, it was on that bullshit.
And that was another one of the situations where white leftists jumped in. They're like, "Don't worry, guys. We accept his apology." They're like, "No, we didn't have a conversation. We didn't have a conversation about this. I can't jump in and just say, oh, it's good." I was like, "No, let's talk about this shit anyway." Oh,
but JB, you got a hurricane warning. What did it say, or can you tell us about it, or tell us about your situation that's happening before you take off? And I know, I don't know how long, Sabby, you're on. I'm gonna be taking off for probably 20 minutes too.
Yeah, I'm about to be going.
But go ahead, JB.
But yeah, so right now, Hurricane Ian is projected to be a Category 4 right before it hits Tampa. So the cone of uncertainty really has it going basically over slightly south of Tampa and, curving north towards Orange County where I live. So by the time it gets over me, it should be a Category 3, which is extremely powerful hurricane. It's like I tell everybody, I don't pay attention until it's a Category 3. So it's going to be a Category 4 by the time it hits Tampa. So depending on how fast it moves, if it slows down, it's going to be even worse because you have those winds 100 plus miles per hour battering people and properties and houses constantly. So, right now we're preparing. And I just want to say this: if you know somebody that lives in the southeast, and they're within the path of this, and that either they're working poor, disabled, or elderly, check on them, see if they have enough money for supplies. Because right now, and then on top of it, see, because some people, they may not be able to work because of the storm. They may not have enough money for rent next month because now they have that day off because of the hurricane, but they don't get paid for that. So check on your loved ones that may have to endure this hurricane. The people who, like, for me, is tough because even if we finally get the money, if say somebody gives me money for supplies, I go to the store, their supplies are gone because most of the people who actually have the money at the time, they hoarded all the resources. So check on your families. If you can drive down there and then drive back and drop down some supplies or something, try to just check on your loved ones, especially those who live in the Southeast, because a lot of us aren't doing too good. So just make sure that, to check on your loved ones. So, yeah.
So thank you, JB. That's
It's
even more reason. I was going to just shout out your fundraiser again.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, because of, this even makes this fundraiser even more important. We didn't know, when we started this, we didn't have any idea about the hurricane, but this is a fundraiser for housing, and now this housing has a hurricane that's going to be coming through. So makes this money even more important. So if you are able to send donations, please do, and that's where you send them. And back to you, JB.
Yeah, and to answer Casey, she said, when's landfall? Landfall should be late tonight, early tomorrow morning. They're saying that it should be close to over Orlando by 9 a.m. in the morning. So I am expecting a power outage. How long the power outage is going to be, I don't know. So, for instance, if you guys are looking forward to the Sabby and JB show on Thursday, I don't know if it's actually going to happen. So if I do have power, I'll say if I do have power by Wednesday evening or Thursday morning, then I'll try to see if I can make it. But if not, then I guess Sabby, then we just won't have a show this week. But
Did I
yeah.
miss you, JB?
I'm sorry. It's so hard to say goodbye to my homie. Sorry. Yeah, I'm tired. That's why I'm so goofy. But yeah, so it should make landfall, and so it's going to be going up. So just positive vibes, people. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. So it's by tomorrow,
All right.
9 a.m. Yeah, it'll be over.
Alrighty. So what I want to do before, because Sabby has a few minutes now, can we cover the names of the Julian Assange event? Sabby,
Right.
did you want to
Bye,
share it, or
everybody.
somebody else can share it? All right, JB. See you, JB.
Love you guys. Thank you.
Yes, Sabby, do you want
And
to
before Sabby leave, we can cover the names.
Yeah, I can share it.
Somebody. Absolutely. All right, JB.
And the list is Misty has a new person on this list every day, it seems like. Let me see.
Misty is killing the game, an honorary Caribbean sister. She was just talking to JB earlier today on his show.
If this nigga get out of jail, I know he better look out for Misty, because if you don't, I'm gonna suck him in his fucking.
I'll share my screen. Yeah, so huge shout out to Comrade Misty, man, because she's really doing a great job with this. So the Julian Assange rally will be Saturday, October 8th in DC at the Department of Justice from 12 to 3 p.m. ET. And this is the list. So she has a thread going here. So we have Chris Hedges is going to be one of the speakers. Joe Loria, he's the editor-in-chief for Consortium News.
Damn.
Eliza Blue, you guys may have seen her on, she's on Tara Reid's show before. She's a human trafficking survivor and human rights advocate. Marsha Coleman, she was a former senior policy analyst and whistleblower for the EPA. Garland Nixon, who I know a lot of us, we know Garland. He's going to be there, radio talk show host and political analyst. James Bovard, author and political commentator, contributor for USA Today. He's another speaker. Steve Dozinger is going to be there. You guys know he was the lawyer that fought against Chevron. Ben Cohen, he is Ben from Ben and Jerry's. So if you like the Ben and Jerry's ice cream, he's going to be a speaker there as well. Reverend Annie Chambers, she's a Black Panther. She was also involved in the marches for Medicare for All. A great speaker. Randy Credico, who is also, he's a huge Assange activist, comedian, radio host and activist. John Carrico, he's a journalist and a CIA whistleblower. Also have Dave DeCamp, he's the news editor of antiwar.com. Jill Stein, who a lot of us have spoken to at one point or another. She's going to be there, former Green Party candidate. There's me. You guys know who I am. I don't need to explain myself.
Let's go.
Kevin Gostola, he's the managing editor of Shadowproof. He's going to be a speaker, as well as Chip Gibbons, who's the journalist and policy director for Defending Rights and Dissent. Dan Cohen, he's the journalist of Mint Press News. Esther Ivram, she's the author and artist and award-winning journalist, producer and editor. And John Stasovich, who me and JV have interviewed, he's independent candidate for president for 2024. And this one came through the other day, and that's Scott Ritter. So you guys may have seen him on multiple shows, former United States Marine Corps intelligence officer. So those are the speakers so far. So definitely looking forward to that.
Absolutely.
RBN should take over this little this little thing right here. But I'm happy. I'm happy as hell. Sabrina is about to
represent. She about to represent. So
I was hoping to see one of your faces on there. Shit.
Yeah. And this is something Misty put together by herself?
It's Misty, and there's a couple other people that are Assange activists, other groups that work together to plan it. So
That's awesome.
That's
awesome.
This is gonna be
like Messi does a lot of good stuff for free press.
This is a concert for fucking leftists.
Dude,
Real shit.
I love this
Bush
like
is there, what the
community in
hell?
general, like the leftists that come together and led by people like Sabby, Misty, everyone you said that speak at that event. Like everyone you see that speak, like John Carrico, for example, spoke at our anti-imperialist summit. Joe Steiner was speaking at that event. They was at our time. Do you guys see this new coalition of leftists?
I was just about to say, I think this is a new thing, Sabby.
Go ahead.
I think this Sabby and Nick, I think this is a new thing in Rome. I think this is a new thing. Like we're seeing a snowball. It's only going to become more prevalent and bigger that we're coalition. And we're like, wait a minute, all the people we're talking to, why don't we just do something? Like, you know what I mean? And that's going to be sort of like the epiphany. But let's let Sabby shout out anything before she takes off. Sabby, you got anything besides this event? You got anything coming up or your episode? What's the topic? What's going on with you, Sabby?
So I do have a third party candidate coming on tonight. He's running for state in Connecticut. He actually came from the George Floyd activism group and organization. So he was an activist who decided I'm going to run for something in my state and push back against or fight for legislation to help change policing. So he's going to come on tonight. So looking forward to that. And then we'll have like 2 news stories.
Absolutely. Awesome. Great. Thank you, Sabby. I think we can move to the next segment and everybody say bye to Sabby. She'll be on. Make sure you check out her tonight. Make sure you check out her stream tonight and everybody say bye to Sabby. All right. I want to do this story. And thank you so much for all your love and support, everyone. That is JB.
Yeah.
Right back at you, Jay.
We can do this story. And then if you had to drop out, I got one story I want to do about the Nord Stream pipeline. That's So guys, stick around. Like I've been digging around on this today. Super interesting story. We do this after this. And
shit.
So go ahead, CJ.
Yeah. So the reason I wanted to cover this is 2 reasons. One is it's Khanna. He's the one that projects like he's a progressive. He goes on all the networks because he needs to keep us in the progressive mindsets because he does nothing that's progressive. Like he does nothing. So this is the reason why I feel like he has to be this transparent. But friend of the show, Dontel, aka Unapologetic, has a Substack. Subscribe to his Substack. It's a great Substack. This is the title of his article. Khanna does more stock trades than anyone else in Congress, including.
And remember, he's supposed Nina Turner too. And there's so many people in the reformist inside game that hated Dontel because of that. Because he had a story that exposed Nina Turner flip-flopping her and all the red flags that we should have saw that will lead to the person that we now know is a sellout today, right? He was the one that wrote that op-ed. I had him on my old show and we talked about it. But there's another great update on the Substack, so make sure you gotta check that out. But go ahead, CJ.
Yeah, so let me just read the sub headline. Alleged anti-corruption politician is pulling a Pelosi by pretending he has nothing to do with his spouse's millions made in the stock market. Isn't that the same thing Pelosi does? That's the same exact thing Pelosi does. And by law, man and wife, people who are married, aren't you one? By law, you're together. So what she does is what he does. But let me continue reading. Insider trading is the act of trading stock based on information that has not been made public, but will affect the price of the stock in the future. This is technically a crime, yet lawmakers participate in this practice every day of the year. It's almost impossible for members of Congress to make stock trades in any company without the use of insider information because of the nature of their job. Members of Congress sit on committees tasked with overseeing every industry and major corporation in the U.S. It's their job to analyze internal corporate documents that no average citizen would ever get access to, make sure corporations are in compliance with the law. They speak to executives on a regular basis about the operations of those businesses. Politicians know the details of government contracts with private businesses. They cut the checks for billions of dollars in government subsidies to industries and specific corporations. Congress regularly conducts investigations with subpoena power to compel secret documents. News of either actions alone can cause a drop in stock prices. Representatives vote on regulations that will affect how an entire industry operates, and they have knowledge beforehand how these votes will end up. I am belaboring the point of just how many ways Congress members have access to insider information to make clear that the possibility that these people can make stock purchases without even accidentally using insider information is next to impossible. And the likelihood that these proven corrupt self-dealing politicians are deliberately using insider information to get rich via stock is through the roof. So that's the first part, and it's a mouthful, but it was a lot of great information. Nick, Rome, any first thoughts before I get into the row part of this article?
I've been calling out this motherfucker ever since I knew about Ro Khanna. I always get a bad vibe from him. When I looked him up, I seen, you know, what his wife was into. She was into oil, and I never trust him. Even when I worked for Bernie, I was calling out Ro Khanna, and everybody was saying, "Oh, you're dividing the left," and I was like, "No, this guy shouldn't be over here with us. He's a phony," you know. And I'm glad that you know, Unapologetic is actually putting the numbers to it, because this is what I was missing, was actually calculating how much of a fucking scumbag this guy actually is. And you know, a lot of us have been calling this out for years, and it might seem like the shit is, it gets repetitive, but it's always, I'm glad to see something new, some new reporting, because in this day of age, these people always say, "Oh, but that was 2010," and you know, these people forgave Joe Biden for the fucking crime bill, so they definitely
Don't forget for this.
forgive. Yeah.
So this is the, and I want to emphasize this enough. This is why I add, and I'll pass back to you, CJ. This is the Democratic Party. This is Democratic Party enabled corruption. It doesn't matter what shade of capitalist you put on your party. This will be the end result of that. This is Nancy Pelosi, their dear leader, who they all voted for instead of voting for advocating for healthcare, right? Nancy Pelosi, guys, look at it. This is not an old quote. This quote is a tender age of under 1 year. This is a under 1 year quote. This is last December 2021. Nancy Pelosi defends lawmakers' stock trades, citing free market. We fucking socialist commies want to stop us from being corrupt. What you guys think this is? You guys think this is a functioning democracy like Cuba? What do you guys think this is? You guys think you guys have a say? These motherfuckers enter office and they leave multimillionaires in the mainstream media. They don't ask any questions. They don't give a fuck. They
get paid, not they push back. I guarantee there's gonna be some people that's gonna come at us pretty soon with some money talking about, "Hey, calm down, you know, you don't have to." Like, no, motherfucker. Now we're really about to say.
Now let's get into the Ro Khanna part before I jet out here. The New York Times did an investigation on stock trades done by lawmakers, and in the name of their immediate family, define conflicts of interest between committee assignments and corporations they invest in. More than anything else, what stood out to me is how alleged anti-corruption Justice Democrat Ro Khanna had more stock trades and potential conflicts of interest than any other member of Congress. Ro reported 10,500 trades in 897 companies since 2019. In an interview on CNBC in February, Ro Khanna confirmed that those accounts did 34 million in stock purchases and 19 million in sales in 2021 alone.
Death to America.
Oh shit!
I really mean death to America.
He was co-chair of presidential campaign claiming to lead a political revolution to upend the establishment, but it turns out he's just another slick talking member of the swamp making millions off the corrupt status quo. The excuse Roe is using to justify his fortunes tied to the wealth of corporations he should be adversarial towards doesn't stand up to mild scrutiny. It's the same tired excuse used by many other lawmakers, including the queen of insider trading herself, Nancy Pelosi. It's not me who owns the stock, it's my spouse. In their eyes, this thin veneer of respectability over wildly unethical behavior is enough justification to get the gullible public to stop whining about the brazen self-dealing. I assure you, it's not. Just as unconvincing is the additional caveat Roe adds, which is even though his wife technically owns the stock, neither of them are the ones making trades. It's an outside party that manages her account. I'm not a lawyer, but if I was, I'm sure I couldn't craft a more polished way to participate in corruption with just enough plausible deniability than that. Person A is a public official with an unquantifiable access to insider information. Person B is a private citizen making millions in stock trades, likely informed by the insider trading, and allegedly independent financial advisor to execute the trades with the added benefit that any communication between person A and person B are protected by spousal privilege. Basically, he's saying, I can stop it here. Basically, he's saying all the wife has to do is tell the outside person what Roe told him that he learned. That's it. That gets around all of that. And now Ro Khanna can be claimed that, oh, I'm anti-corruption, as he's the number one corrupt insider trader in Washington behind Nancy Pelosi, and nobody knew that. Who could beat Nancy Pelosi? And that's it, guys. I'll pass it to you, Nick. I'm going to head out in a little bit, but after your comments, go ahead, sir.
Yeah. Rome, you have anything?
I just want to say this shit is sick, and I know it's going to be people that's going to take up for him in some kind of ways, but there's no way. You know, we know, you know, we are workers. We are the workers. We have multiple jobs, hustles, et cetera, et cetera. It's not about what you can do. It's about who knows who. And you can't just tell me that this woman is just getting lucky with these trades. It's just, you know, so good at her job that she's just getting so lucky to be worth millions of dollars and always get something off the end of this. No, a lot of this comes with a lot of inside trading, and you know, Roe just trying to get around the criticism, but there's no way you can get around that shit, because I mean it is when you have stupid Americans falling for that shit. But other than that, everybody ain't gonna fall for that shit. I ain't falling for that shit.
Yep, Ro Khanna's Pelosi 2.0. That's perfect. But yeah, CJ, what you got coming up? Anything
yeah, that's so what I have coming up tomorrow. I'm holding on a story, the MAGA communist story, as my final word. So I'm not sure if I'm going to do that because I think some other news came out, so that might get pushed back to where it may not never come out. So that's what's setting.
Debating some guy on Friday night, Dr. Henry, some guy who's supposed to be close to Haas. I'm supposed to be debating. So we see. But anyway,
but yeah, I'm gonna be checking out. I gotta go pick up my daughter. I'm running a little bit late. Working on a website that's coming. My sister's here now working on it, so that's coming to everybody. Make sure you like on my way out. We are roughly approaching 450. So can we push to 500 likes before the stream is over? Now they're going to continue with stories, and I pass it back to you, Nick.
Yeah, Ro, stay on me on the last story. This is gonna be a fun story, because this is very interesting. I've been looking at this story. The Nord Stream pipeline is leaking. So we're just gonna ask this question, Ron. We're just asking questions. What caused it? Who did it? And I'm gonna say, as someone who holds my government accountable, we looking kind of shady here, guys. We're looking kind of shady. I'm gonna explain here soon. See, Ron, sit back here. But before that, I want to provide some context about the Nord Stream pipeline to understand and explain to you guys why I'm making the assessment that I am right now. So the United States has always been against the Nord Stream pipeline. They hated it. They hated the idea of Russia having this great deal with Germany. with Germany, and this something that would boost their economy, right? They wanted to isolate Russia. That's why Nord Stream pipeline was one of the first thing they went after when the Ukraine war started. Like, yes, we got a reason to axe it. Now, to show you guys what I mean here, Donald Trump, remember the guy who said, they're like, oh, Trump is a Putin puppet. The people who pushed Russiagate are people who had no clue about foreign policy. Anyone who followed U.S. foreign policy knew Russiagate was bullshit because Trump had a more hawkish foreign policy on Russia than anyone since Bill Clinton. And I'm going to give you guys one example. Do you guys know that Donald Trump authorized CIA cyber attacks into Russian infrastructure? That was Trump. That's something that even Barack Obama did not want to do because he saw that was an escalation too far. Donald Trump did that. You want to know what else Donald Trump did against Russia that kind of debunked this whole Russia Putin puppet thing? I don't know. He put sanctions on the Nord Stream pipeline. These are things that the shit-lived TYT media, they never bring up. Like, people will repeat uncritically. They're like, oh, Donald Trump is a Putin puppet. He's just doing Putin's bidding. Meanwhile, he is literally trying to coup Venezuela and Nicolas Maduro, a Russian ally. Every step of the way, Donald Trump has been posed Putin on foreign policy. But then they say, oh, Donald Trump said one nice thing about Putin. He must be working for Russia. It was beyond absurd.
And that's the whole thing, because they don't want people to actually see what's going on, because they're going to say, hold on, we the bad guys here? Like, what are we actually doing out here? What is we doing across the fucking world anyway, right? But, and damn, I wish I could log on Twitter on her without getting kicked the fuck off. But it was another story a couple of years ago. They had found mines and underwater bombs by the pipeline, remote control bombs by this pipeline set to go off, and they had to disarm them and move them and whatnot. So this have been planned. Even Biden had said something about.
They admit it. Look at this. Yeah. Look at this, Rome. It said the Trump. Look, this is from 2019. The Trump administration fears the pipeline will tighten Russia's grip over Europe's energy supply and reduce its own share of the lucrative European market. So for American liquefied natural guys, and this is literally the theme of this segment. I'm gonna show you guys. These people are fucking gangsters. The United States, they are gangsters. They just openly say this shit, and the U.S. media just don't ask any questions.
Oh, the one lady did ask. She said, how would you be able to do that? Biden said,
yeah, I'm gonna show that. Yeah. So yeah, I'm going in a certain order to paint this story for you guys. So this is the official story. This is what we're talking about. In case you guys have not noticed, because this is a breaking news story. This is only from today. I was reading about it, putting some facts together. And this is mystery leaks hit the Russian undersea gas pipelines to Europe. And now there's a giant propaganda war going on because a lot of European countries are saying, there may be sabotage. And Russia did not rule it out, right? This is why I'm interested in this story, because I already know what's going to happen. You're going to see neocons already saying that Russia, for some reason, will attack this pipeline, even though that goes against their own energy interest. That is what they're already about to start saying.
Like, who got more to lose in this situation right here? And America always wants to be the strong arm. We have to be the police of the world. And we can't have Germany getting energy from Russia, especially during these times, because when war really goes on and Russia starts to, press their foot down, their boot down a little bit more, they're going to have to pick sides. And I don't think that America gives Germany enough, enough trade, enough energy, anything to even, side with them in the middle of a nuclear war.
Right.
With Russia. And they're right next door. That's stupid.
So now we're gonna this is I'm gonna show you this report. I'm trying to figure out what order I'm gonna do. I'm gonna show you this report first. Then I'm gonna show you guys their gangster ass statements. So in an expeditionary detachment of U.S. Navy ships led by a universal amphibious assault ship, USS Kearsarge, days ago was in the Baltic Sea. So what are they saying here? I know I may butcher that. U.S. Navy ships was spotted in the region. It was 30 kilometers from the site of the alleged sabotage. So I'm a citizen journalist. We're just asking questions, right?
Man, fuck that. I ain't no journalist. America did that shit. Nigga, if you leave it. Dog, I mean, come on, man.
Yes, this is crazy.
Who gonna do this? Why would they do that? Why would Russia do this and attack their own infrastructure? You know, I just don't get the point or the when they thought of their intelligent community thought of, and they was like, yeah, we're gonna bomb our own infrastructure, we're gonna cause a couple of leaks, and then we're gonna blame it on the Americans. What?
And they already have by the balls anyway. When it comes to energy, they already have Europe by the balls. The United States has a vested interest in this because they don't want to supply Russia. They don't want anyone to hedge on the Russian sanctions. They don't want anyone to give an inch. So they'd rather shut the Nord Stream pipeline down, period. So they're not even on the negotiation table. And then they can say, oh, it's Russia that bombed the pipelines. Russia is responsible for the European energy crisis, even though we led you guys down this path. Right? I
really don't understand. Like, even if they say it was an attack from Germany itself or some militias, like, no, I don't think even militias are that dumb to attack a source of energy like that. Like, I don't see that shit happening. They have way more to lose, and it wasn't even just this that was going on right now. They was worried about the winter itself. Way before the leaks and all this shit had happened and the shut off, they was worried about the winter. So now people are really gonna die. Because America has to be the strong. We have to be the police. We have to be the ones, and we have to control everything, the ins and the outs. Even though these countries are nowhere near close to us.
So, just to show you guys what I mean, the United States have talked openly about shutting the Nord Stream pipeline down. And now this is what you mentioned earlier, Ron. I'm going to get to this point because I know some of you motherfuckers look at me like I'm probably crazy. No, our gangster government officials admit it and say the quiet part out loud. These people are gangsters as fuck. This is Biden. I'm going to play this quick 40-second clip. President Biden said if Russia invades, then there will be no longer a Nord Stream 2. We will bring an end to it. The reporter said, how will you do that? Especially since the project is under Germany's control. And Biden said, hey, promise you, we got ways. We got ways, man. Hey, that pipeline, it'd be a shame. It's a shame if something happens to that pipeline over there, man. Hey, it'd be a shame. It'd be a shame that when my neighbor was spotted near the area. So let me play the clip so you guys can hear him say it. And then I'm going to turn the audio on. I get your thoughts in there, Rome. Here it is.
Let me answer the first question first. If Russia invades, that means tanks or troops crossing the border of Ukraine again. Then there will be no longer a Nord Stream 2. We will bring an end to it.
How will you do that exactly, since the project and control of the project is within Germany's control?
We will. I promise you, we'll be able to do it.
We will bomb the shit out that country if they don't do what the fuck we tell them to do.
Yo, she asked him that question. She's like, "How you know that?" And he looked at her like, "Oh, you sweet summer child. Oh, you don't know how this works.
Her ass
you asking me how we get? Oh, you don't get. Oh, you don't understand. You don't know who you're talking to, motherfucker. I'm Jim Coach Joe, motherfucker. If I want to shut this motherfucking pipe down, he like, if I want to shut this shit down, he said it was swagger.
He ain't stutter that time.
Man.
He might have thought about what he said, but he damn sure ain't stutter.
He had to stop himself, and he was like, all right, how do I explain this in a professional way? If we want to shut this motherfucking pipe down, and we want to shut this shit down, we want to shut it down. And I'm going to show you guys another clip for Condoleezza Rice in 2014, in her opinion on the pipeline. let me pull this up. I'm showing you guys what these gangsters just say. The U.S. plan was always to stop EU from buying Russia's gas.
Yep.
That was always its plan. In 2014, Rice said, "You want to change the structure of energy dependence. You want to depend more on North American energy platform to have pipelines that don't go through Ukraine and Russia." Breaking points will never explain this to you guys. Would they show you this? Anyway, let's hear it from her. I'll give you it, Rob.
That. Do you think Germany's been as aggressive as they should be?
I'm quite an admirer of Chancellor Merkel, and I heard her statement when she was with President Obama in Washington. I thought it was a very good statement. But now we need to have tougher sanctions, and I'm afraid at some point this is going to probably have to involve oil and gas. The Russian economy is vulnerable. 80% of Russian exports are in oil, gas, and minerals. People say, well, the Europeans will run out of energy. Well, the Russians will run out of cash before the Europeans run out of energy.
She did not deny that they will run out of energy. She did not.
And I understand that it's uncomfortable to have an effect on business ties in this way. But this is one of the few instruments that we have. Over the long run, you simply want to change the structure of energy dependence. You want to depend more on the North American energy platform, the tremendous bounty of oil and gas that we're finding in North America. You want to have pipelines that don't go through Ukraine and Russia. For years, we've tried to get the Europeans to be interested in different pipeline routes. It's time to do that. And so some of this is simply acting are in oil, gas, and minerals. People say, well, the Europeans will run out of energy. Well, the Russians will run out of cash before the Europeans run out of energy.
That is a psychopath. Do you guys hear what she just said? She said, if we sabotage the trade between Europe and Russia on gas, yeah, Europe may run out of energy. What is the implication of what that means, guys? Yeah, millions of people may freeze, but Russia may run out of money. Think about what priorities, guys. What are the priorities? Feeding?
And for a fucking land. Like, oh my God. And Russia isn't going to run out of fucking money. No way. All you guys going to do is push Europe into a corner until they are forced to actually punch against the West themselves. You know what I'm saying? Push against the EU, because what else do they have? They're going to have people out there in the streets fighting, protesting, burning down buildings, looking up politicians and going to their houses. This is going to be chaos if they don't get it under control. And it's not just, it isn't as easy as these psychopaths are thinking. Maybe it's easy to them because they see us as numbers. They don't see us as people. But when this shit hits the fan, man, these people are going to be dying. You're going to have people out there stealing from their neighbors, even though their neighbors ain't got shit. All types of shit. It's going to be chaos. And I don't see it working. Like a lot of America plans during foreign policy, it never works. It never fucking works. And you'll be a fool if you can think that you can cripple Russia with a brotherhood like China, with brotherhoods with continents like Africa. They will never run out of people to fucking sell to. Nobody likes y'all. Nobody likes the fucking West. Y'all don't have real partnerships. BRICS have more people in their population than, you know what I'm saying, G7 does. There's no way y'all can cripple Russia. And all of this shit is just, man, this shit is just a who's the big guy in the yard type shit. America needs to get over themselves. It's a new kid on the block, man. You ain't got it no more.
They want to destroy the world in order to maintain U.S. Western hegemony. That is what Condoleezza Rice is saying there. Yes, we want millions of Europeans to freeze in order so Russia can run out of money. For what? For people to have health care? No. Do people have better life expectancy? No. Just so we can have U.S. hegemony. That's it. And I want to show you guys, this is how we're going to end the segment. We're going to wrap up here soon. This is the main character of the day, the neocon of the day. There are a lot of these Ukraine flag waving Nazi fascists that are low-key cheering this because they have the same ideology where they're like, oh shit, yes, now the energy off the table. Now they're going to join our conquest against Russia because that energy is not even on the negotiation table anymore. That's why they benefit from this. So now you have these people who are tweeting the quiet part out loud. And Max Blumenthal, this dude said, "Thank you, USA." This is the Nord Stream leak. And Max Blumenthal explains the Polish husband of neocon Biden administration, Hillary Clinton confidant. I know who Ann Applebaum is. That's her husband. And Matt said he celebrates the attack on the Nord Stream as an act of U.S. state terror that would doom millions of Europeans to a freezing winter. And I just simply, damn. I should have like 1,000 already. Damn. But anyway, I said, you are a fucking psychopath. This dude he is joking and cheering on the U.S. for taking out this pipeline. By the way, let's see what he said. I didn't see the other tweet. Let me read these. By the way, there's no shortage of pipeline capacity for taking gas from Russia to Europe, including Germany. Nord Stream only logic for Putin. Jesus Christ! So it get worse. So in his follow-up tweet, if he can say it was just a joke, he then says a follow-up tweet that was like, oh, people are fear-mongering over the importance of Nord Stream. Nord Stream is not that important. You got to see, that's what he's saying here.
Your life isn't that important. It isn't that important than taking down Putin.
He said Nord Stream only for Putin to be able to blackmail or wage war on Eastern Europe with impunity. Guys, you gotta fucking use diplomacy with a natural power. I'm sorry that hurts. That's how the real world, that's how it works. That's why I was explaining to Robbie. You gotta use diplomacy in order to keep the economic stability of the international order in place. The West is like, no, if we're not gonna have U.S. unipolar dominance, we will ruin the life of millions of people. This is crazy.
Zombies, I love this because if this was the case, Russia would just hit Europe with a whole bunch of sanctions, right? Like, okay, if you want this, give me that, blah, 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 and all that shit, all them deals that you're doing with America, you can't do that. You can't get no oil if you do deals with America. Now, that's blackmail. Like, I haven't seen any of that. You have no evidence of it, but yet they pull that shit out of their ass for somewhere. I just don't know. Maybe they get their strip from their CIA desk before they leave and gotta go tweet.
They call him a terrorist. And this dude said, this seems like a very irresponsible tweet given your position. To say the least. He's the chairman of the EU, U.S. delegation. Where the fuck that is? These people with their made-up titles.
Yeah, these people are crazy.
God, dude, these people are crazy. You guys think we sound radical? Everyone didn't do the main character. I didn't see none of the responses. That's why I'm looking through literally.
Y'all thought y'all saw some shit in Texas, boy. Watch this winter. This winter, not even just in the West itself, because we had to remember when we had to stop fucking with Russia and stop taking their gas. Our prices went up. They went up, and if our neighbors are going to freeze, then we're not that farther away from them. So I see this having a butterfly effect. I see this having a domino effect to America because, like I said before, America, they're analysts. They never actually plan for the best. They just plan for their pockets. They plan for, what can get them capital and gain. So even if it takes us to freeze, just like this woman has said, yes, they may run out of energy. But Russia is going to run out of money, and that's what it all is. You know what I'm saying? It's a money game. It's a power game. Even though we are leftists and, whatever the fuck you want to call yourself, communists, and we don't value money the same as they do. You still got to take in consideration that these people value money more than, they value me and you. So these people need to be dealt with before something happens to us on a large scale, like it's gonna like they are planning for Europe. And like Nick has said, this is just for U.S. just to be the big dog, just for them to be the top dog. Come buy oil for us that we stole from Venezuela and Africa. Come get the oil from us, and this what this is all about. It's all it ever will be about, and this is why America will fall harder than any other empire, and it will be talked about for many other centuries once it do fall. it's gonna fall worse than Rome.
Yep, look at this. This is the last breaking news that I'll end with you guys, because this is what every segment should end with. This because all the propaganda. This is what this is about. This is what the Ukraine offensive was about. This is why the United States want to keep this going. This is money laundering at this point, and this is why I said we are watching a historic looting of the working class play out in real time. Because U.S. Congress reached a preliminary agreement to provide about $12 billion in new assistance to Ukraine. And I'm saying right now, I'm watching. We already know. Fuck all the progressives who support this, right? They're gonna vote for this again. This is a robbery of the working class. Look at this man. I need help, please. Nah. Send that money to Ukraine. Send it to Nazis. I love my algorithm basis.
Oh shit.
I love my algorithm always got the best replies on top.
Can you go to jail for smacking the ice cream out of a president's hand?
This is another good one. The people you're funding.
I saw a fly on it. I thought it was a red dot or something. My bad.
The party that pretends they're fighting white supremacy is sending billions to these people. Dude, our reality is so weird. I hate the future, man. I hate the future.
Yeah, facts.
But anyway, we can wrap up there. I just want to end it with at least a little funny twist at the end. Ron, what you got coming up? Anything you want to plug or promote before you wrap up?
Oh shit, yeah. I'm headed to fucking Jackson, Mississippi in a couple of days. I'll be down there for like 1 day. I'll be in and out because I got a lot of shit I'm taking care of up here. And oh, that's what I wanted to share. I got a fucking movie coming out, y'all. People like,
yeah, that shit's fire, bro.
How the fuck you get a movie? I don't fucking know. I was just walking around one day, some people have followed me with a damn camera, but it's let me see. Houses, man, grass cut. The only reason why the people believe in me is because I talk shit and I really believe in what I say. So when I say death to America, I really mean death to America. I really mean death to racism. I really mean death to imperialism, death to capitalism, death to everything that brought us here, that pushed us here and pushed us apart. I used to see beautiful houses, man, grass cut, children playing. They took them away from me for a reason, man.
Oh, you muted, bro. Yeah, we having a watch party on RBN when that shit pops off too.
Man, yeah, that shit gonna be it's gonna be nice, man. We did our thing on there, man. I tried my best to, try to get everything I could in one weekend and break everything down. I got footage of me recruiting people for the care party, the militia, feeding people.
Bro, when this documentary drops, this shit gonna be fire, boy. This shit gonna be fire. Our boy Ron be doing some big ass shit. So then people was like, bro, we got to put this shit on camera. You guys see what this nigga doing? Y'all see what this nigga forming militias, feeding people or educating people. They're like, someone get this on camera. Someone find smart enough to do it. Bro, that documentary gonna be fire, boy.
It's gonna show you like it's really easier than what you would think. Like I really walk up to random people and just be like, hey, join me if you want to take down America. Sometimes people like,
and people are like, oh, that's a pretty interesting offer. Let me hear a little more.
Like shit. I mean, what else do we have? What what I'm saying? Like we in the slums. I talk to a lot of people in the red hood in Detroit, in the red zone, and we ain't got a lot to lose. We got more to gain in this fight, and that's why I always break it down. Like I remember I had shared a battle rap about some battle rapper saying something about him getting in trouble for killing his his enemies, and you go to war and they give you badges, praises for that. And sometimes I really I lead with that. Like, what I'm saying? Like they give their killers badges and ranks, Our killers get prison. And it's a difference. It's not about if you're a killer or not. It's about who you kill for. And
Right.
this is what we you know what I'm saying, this what I like to put through people's head if they try to, you know what I'm saying, they try to push back on why are you militant, why we should take over, why we should overthrow, like, because this is what we have left. But it's gonna give it's gonna be dope. It's gonna be dope. We still working on it. We're still doing a voiceover and all that. I still got to do the voiceover, find some pictures for me being when I was a child, shit like that. But it's gonna be dope, and we're gonna have some screenings for people that want to see it firsthand and all that, and they can have you know what I'm saying, just first glimpse at it and whatnot on Right Brian TV. That's gonna be nice. But I think that's it. I got Jackson. I should be down there in like 2 or 3 days, and we're gonna be dropping that around my birthday. My birthday is January 16th, so it should be dropping around that time.
Yeah, that shit gonna be fire, y'all. As for me, tomorrow you guys can check me out on Call-In, on Revolutionary Discourse. Gonna do my Wednesday night show, 9 p.m. Eastern. If you guys haven't, download the Call-In app. And I usually have a roundtable full of our amazing members, our communities. We're probably gonna talk about probably gonna do a foreign policy update. There's a lot of shit to talk about. I don't know. There's gonna be a lot to talk about. Our call-ins usually go off the rails anyway. Usually just a fucking random raving.
You gonna call in tonight?
Tomorrow night.
Oh, okay. Damn,
Tomorrow, maybe at like 8 Central, I'm thinking. So we always got a lot of great content coming your way. Make sure you guys subscribe to JB Fun Savvy channel as well. Make sure you guys support us on Patreon, Revolutionary Blackout, so we can continue our work. Like, share the stream, and help us grow. We appreciate you guys. Have a good rest.